Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Europa Universalis IV. This is the beginner-friendly series, and we are playing as Castile. And things are going quite well, actually. I was just looking at some of the things before we got going here, because I know it has been a while since we last played. So first of all, we have the League War coming up fairly soon. We are on the Catholic side. The Catholic side is looking pretty strong. None of our allies, I don't think, are on the Protestant side, but we shall need to keep an eye on that. One of the nations, for instance, which is not on this yet, is France. The other thing, which I noticed, is we are the wealthiest nation in the world, though it is relatively close. The Commonwealth is just behind us, and then Ming just behind them. But we are currently in first place. And actually the thing which interested me and surprised me the most is the fact we are currently the greatest of great powers. We are in first place with, again, the Commonwealth second, Mamluks third, France in fourth. And Russia has formed, but Russia is having some peasant problems. So what else have we managed to do? Well, we've started colonizing in earnest. We have taken over a large chunk of the Caribbean. We've gone after Mexico, which is technically in the Portuguese sphere of influence, but as long as we're just conquering territories here, we're not actually colonizing, it's fine. We have Nueva Granada, which is going to be securing Panama, and then we also have El Dorado down in Brazil. At the moment, Hispaniola, which is the Caribbean territories, are the wealthiest. They are making the most money, they are the most developed, but Nuevo Castile, which is Mexico, is generating treasure fleets with 400 ducats, which is immense. And when those start actually arriving more frequently, you will see just why those are so immense. And we may well have some piracy problems because of it, and also possibly inflation. Our idea groups at the moment: exploration, expansion, probably for the massive colonization efforts that we've been undertaking. Quality, because that is a balance of land combat and naval combat. And then most recently, economic ideas, specifically, I think, for the next idea, which is the National Bank, which is coming with that yearly inflation reduction, because inflation is a bit of an issue for us. We do have some natural reduction, but we need more. And in fact, I think that natural reduction is coming from the papacy, right? What the hell is that? Catholics all over the world are encouraged to attack Pacayes. That is a really weird banner. Who on earth is Pacayes? Oh, wow. Incans. That is a funky banner. It kind of looks like they've just taken like 12 pixels and just expanded them. Anyway, that's what's going on there. Then we have diplomacy. We are currently allied to France, Bavaria, Naples, and Venice. And we're currently married to France and Naples. We are not allied to Portugal anymore. I don't remember if we are historical friends. We are still historical friends, even though we kind of hate each other, because we have some really big colonial rivalries going on. So that is something which we're going to double down on. They do have some pretty big colonies in North America, and I've basically said I will allow Portugal to have North America. That's fine. But anything south of Texas, or south of North Mexico technically, is mine, and I want it. Do we have truces? We do. Shamna, Itza, Tlaxcala, Sayak, Kutai, Coilahuaca, Teotitlan, and Chiquimeca. Chiquimeca, I think, are in the south. The others, I think, are all up here. So it's going to be a little while before we can declare another war up there in the north. However, we could try to go after Quito and grab a bit more of Colombia and Muisca. And I think we were actually kind of gearing up for a war against Muisca. They're allied with Quito. Oh, perfect. And you're allied with Chacapoya, which is them. So yeah, I think the Muisca is going to be the next conflict. Cool. Things are going quite well. Things people say before they aren't going quite well. Yeah, I mean, the big issue on our future is definitely going to be the League War. Because I don't think we're in as solid a financial situation as we were with Lübeck, or the Hansa. But we do have a much larger military. We can get up to 50,000 manpower. And we have a standing army at this point of 75 regiments. We could probably get even more. We also have an expanding navy. And we could definitely do with more. In fact, we are building a bunch more. We're building another 24 ships. So that was one of the last construction efforts that we undertook. We're also really heavily in debt. Ah, thanks, past Mordred. 4,000 ducats only. Okay. No, we never got the Iberian wedding. Ah, the legendary gradient banners of the late 1500s. Exactly. Well, you have manpower, which is usually more manpower than we usually have. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we got PU'd by Aragon. So the Iberian wedding basically fired in reverse. It wasn't the actual event, but they still got a PU over us. And that prevented the Iberian wedding from happening. We did get our independence. That is why we're now allied with France. Because right at the beginning of the game, France was our rival. But as soon as the PU with Aragon happened, that reset all of our diplomatic settings, basically, or standings. We broke free. France, I think, supported our independence, as did Venice, which is one of the reasons we have such a close agreement with Venice. And this is a strong Venice at this point. Not because of me. This has just been an incredibly weak Ottomans, and the Venetians have been banking on that fact. So we're now allied with France, Venice, and Naples, and I kind of like this diplomatic situation. But the next big shake-up is going to be League War. I don't really know when that's going to trigger. Bohemia. Bohemia is Catholic. Yeah, I think this is one of the weird instances where we're actually going to be supporting the Bohemians. Because they refused Hussite. And they have indeed. Even though they are almost entirely converted, they are going Catholic. And this is actually going to be a strong reformation. Like, a lot of Germany has been converted. England's going Anglican. It's kind of France and me. And then also Italy, which haven't. And then Eastern Europe and the Balkans. But Central Europe, oof. Lots has happened. Okay, I think it is time for me to go ahead and unpause and just see what happens. Because right now it kind of feels like I'm mostly just waiting for truces to end. England is no longer a valid rival. Interesting. So we've got Aragon, we've got the Mamelukes. We could have England again. They must be right on the verge. And I feel like England is still a good choice for a rivalry. France definitely not. Malacca, maybe. Portugal, maybe. You know what? Portugal probably is a better choice. Historical friendship is now low. No more. And again, I believe in keeping status quo, so I'm not going to be going after Portugal proper, but the colonies are definitely open for conquest. And I would very much like to secure more of the Caribbean. But I want to keep Portugal relatively strong so they can colonize more of North America. Because that just makes it much more interesting. Am I going to do any colonization in Asia? Maybe? I mean, we've already begun. This is one thing I had forgotten to show off. So we are active in Africa. We have been working on securing the Ivory Coast, which is something we just started doing with Lübeck as well. And we control 57% of the trade through the Ivory Coast. So we can basically say, you're all going to Sevilla. We have the Cape of Good Hope, including the utterly ridiculous gold mine of Swellendam. Because it has the striking gold plus 50% local goods modifier, which is crazy. And as a result... No, we did make this a trade company. But we caught it. Okay. I wonder if you'd make more money if you were just a state. I don't think there's any real reason not to. Except we may lose a merchant. And then we also have El Dorado, and there's a reason that this is called El Dorado, because Rio Grande do Sul is El Dorado, which is also a local goods produced plus 50% modifier, except this one is permanent. Unfortunately, it wasn't producing gold, which is unfortunate. It's sugar instead, but still, that is going to be a substantial amount of money from El Dorado once that colony really gets going. And we are starting to strike a little bit of gold up here in the... No, we're not. There's one gold mine there. That's it. This has actually been a remarkably gold-poor playthrough, except for Mexico. Trade company at the time, because some reason I don't remember why, with plans to change it later. Maybe because of government reform? No. Oh, what's it called? It's called thingy. Governing capacity, which we have plenty of. Kazgem, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome to Kazgem? Kazgem. Or Gem. Kazgem. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome to all of your viewers. Hello, hello, hello. What were you guys playing before this? Gem is in the duel. Okay, Kazgem. Cool. EU4. Excellent. Well, welcome to this playthrough. We are just getting started here. This is a continuation of what's called the Beginner Friendly series, where basically I take things a little bit slower. We're very much open to questions. If you have any questions or requests, or want to just know more information about any facets or features in Europa Universalis, then this is absolutely the place to ask. This is also a series that's going up on YouTube, so I just take my time and explain things as I'm doing them, and it's just a much slower paced game than I perhaps otherwise would do. So yeah, welcome everyone. We are currently playing as Castile. We did not get the Iberian wedding. In fact, we kind of got the opposite. We were PU'd by Aragon. But since then, we have restored our independence and have become quite a significant power. Colonization efforts are well and truly underway. We're also going for Africa. And then most recently, I think, is actually the attempts, the Castilian top end in Australia. We're going to try and get Castilian Australia. What do I think of the Hussite religion? I have not actually played very much with the Hussites. In this game, they are existing in only one province in Prague. Although Bohemia is currently the emperor, and despite being majority converted by Protestantism, in fact they're about to lose their last province, they are still Catholic, and clinging to that because League Wars are about to happen. We've got the two sides beginning to square up. Venice is on our side, that's good. Naples is on our side, that's good. Venice and Naples are both my allies. I just need France to stick with us. And so is Bavaria. Bavaria's on our side too. Kazgem, thank you very much for the follow. And Nightamorphis, thank you also for the follow. Welcome to the channel. And we can actually see what Hussite does. I thought. Pretty sure it's not just unrest. It's like infantry combat or something, isn't it? Thought you could see from here. Not sure. How is Scotland still free? Because England... In fact, Cornwall's still free. I'm not actually sure how Scotland is still free, because I've certainly not done anything here. I've actually done basically nothing in Europe, so the fact that the Ottomans are dead, not down to me, despite my alliance with the Venetians. That might have just stopped the Ottomans going after Venice early on, but I've never actually fought them. It's just the Mamelukes and Venice having a great game. Venice especially, this is basically all Venice is doing. The Mamelukes just kind of came in and took a bunch of territory at the tail end of a war. The Mamelukes are quite strong because of me, because I had a disastrous war against them, in which we got absolutely obliterated. That was a very good example of how not to fight a war. Hey, you learn everything here. I thought I was being exceedingly clever, but in fact, it backfired massively. So we can no longer humiliate them. We can humiliate Portugal, because we have just rivaled them. So that is what we are going to do. We are also going to embargo them, because that means I'm going to get more money in this area. El Dorado treasure fleet has returned. We gained 170 ducats from the gold and silver mines of El Dorado. The amount of gold has increased our inflation by 0.03%, which is why I am so desperate to get inflation reduction ideas. However, the amount that we gained has been hugely increased by our Grand Armada, which is a unique doctrine for Castile, possibly Spanish culture, and also the Reform Council of the Indies, which is one of the government reforms that we have access to. This one, which increases global tariffs and then also treasure fleet income. So one of the things I wanted to take a look at, because this is the first time this has happened, is El Dorado is due to raise 170, so that bonus is actually factored in here. So basically what happens is instead of colonies gaining income from gold, it is instead added to a pool, and that pool will accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate until it hits that 170. And then basically that is all shipped off to us, and then we cash in on that 170 ducats. Nuevo Castillo, having a lot of gold mines, is doing the same thing. They can get a pool of up to 400 ducats, and then that is shipped over to us, and we get that as a lump sum injection. So basically, as soon as Castile gets gold mining colonies, they can get very wealthy very quickly because of their reforms, which allow them to do this. Constance is no longer having religious problems. And we've got Domingo Ponce de Leon. One of our advisors, Domingo de Ponce de Leon, has revolutionized the art of siegecraft and defensive fortifications, and he has fought in wars of Enrique IV and has attended frequent tours around the frontiers, redesigning and improving numerous fortifications. So we can get military tech cost reduction and admin power or prestige. We are at 99 prestige, so I don't think we necessarily need that. So let's go with the admin. And it's a good thing we're getting these cash injections, because I am still 4,000 ducats in debt. The other thing which we are starting to see is an accumulation of new boats. So let's go ahead and get these guys to link up here in Cadiz, and then we'll take a look at our trade. Great expectations. A political marriage is as much a union as it is a contract of mutual support. The Zuniga family expects the king will heed the advice of the queen consort and actively look after his and their interests. The crown will help get rid of an uncooperative advisor. We lose our spy master. Zuniga likes this. Our spy master is a level 3. He is half price. You can sod off. So we lose some autonomy and we lose some prestige. Oh well. Worth it for a 50% off advisor. Okay, so we've gotten ourselves some early frigates. So let's take a look at trade. Comrade Shamrock wants me to drink some tea. I think that's a good idea. Hussite, +2 missionary strength versus heretics, and -5% shock damage received. And they get the church aspects like Protestantism, but they are different. Oh, interesting. I didn't realise about the aspects. Cool. What's the current meta on trade companies? Pre 1.3 added everything to the trade company, but now you have government cap. I would say that you still want to add stuff to them. They're a little bit more flexible now that you can add trade companies anywhere, which is... which icon was it? That one? No. That's this one, isn't it? Anywhere which is outside of your starting continent. So as long as you get territories in like Eastern Europe or in Northern Africa or the Levant, you can turn any of those territories into trade companies. You cannot do that in Western Europe, however. What exactly that means is you can get a lot more trade power abroad, but it will cost you in terms of manpower, tax income, production income, though less. Manpower and sailors are the big thing. However, you can get trade company buildings, which counter that. I don't think there really is like a set. It is you must trade company everything, or you shouldn't trade company everything. Coring distance. Does coring distance come into that? I'm trying to remember why on earth I didn't create a state here. Oh no, I could. We will lose our production efficiency bonus. Because the thing is, I have this incredibly active gold mine here. And it's going to be providing that plus 50% local goods for another 75 years, basically. I'm still not convinced that this is the best idea. Yeah, it's just autonomy that changes. So our autonomy could go from 70% to 0. So we're basically, I think, collecting only 30% of the gold income. I'm still a little bit unsure about this. You know what? Let's test it. Let's just state this place and then find out what's better for gold mines. So we're currently earning 3.5 for production here with the trade company bonus. However, if we do this and then skip to the end of the month, we are now producing 0.8. Oh, it's not production income anymore, it's a gold income. Swellendom, 0. Why is that 0? Huh? Let's wait until the end of this month and then take another look. Because autonomy is 0%. Why am I not producing any gold here? Oh, trade company penalty. Yeah, you're right. Which will last for 5 years. That's why we didn't do it last time. I just wanted to go and look that up. Get gold from provinces based on autonomy. Trade companies require a province to be a territory, not a state, which means 75% autonomy. If you want a shot at full gold production, you need to state it. Alright, so we do need to state this. I'll just have to swallow the fact we're going to not earn anything for 5 years. I think it is a better idea to just state the Cape of Good Hope. It does mean that we lose a merchant. So be it. I have a feeling that the gold income from this is probably going to be better. To prevent a colonial nation from forming, they can't. So there are only a couple of places in the world where colonial nations can form, and it's basically anywhere that says colonial. So these are not colonial. They are charters. So colonial Brazil, La Plata, Peru, Colombia, Caribbean, Mexico, California, Cascadia, Louisiana, Eastern America, Canada, and Australia. Those are the only colonial nations in the game. Everything else is trade company. Is there a game like this that's less complicated? If you're looking for an introduction to like grand strategy, then I would say probably your best bet would be Hearts of Iron. Or possibly Stellaris. But I don't tend to play much Stellaris because I just don't like it as much as the other ones. I would say probably Hearts of Iron's your best bet as an introduction. Or Total War. Total War would also be a good intro. Any of them. Just finished my first ever EU4 campaign. Oh, nice. Who are you playing as? Played more than 1,700 hours and have never seen before that the Ottomans get fully annexed by AI-only countries. Yeah, I don't know exactly why the Ottomans were as weak in this as they were, but they got really badly slapped around. I think they were having problems with their economy. They were like really heavily in debt. Right, I have my ships. Let's go and take a look at trade. So we did just lose a merchant, but so be it. We'll get more. Because basically everywhere else is probably going to be trade companies, with the exception, potentially, of this. Because there's a heck of a lot of gold right there. However, these being gem production is really interesting. Definitely trade companyable. Okay, cool. And then this is definitely a trade company, because the thing that trade companies are very good at is producing a lot of trade power. And we need trade power here. So, trade. Trade. Let's go take a look. So we're currently collecting in Sevilla. We have trade flowing in from Tunis. But Tunis is not chaining anything together. We've got money coming in from Safi, which is pretty nice. Ivory Coast. We're not currently pushing any money from the east yet, but I think that's more about a lack of merchants. And also we just have a lot more invested in, for example, the Americas. So we are pushing a lot of money out of Sevilla into the Sevilla node. Out of the Caribbean into Sevilla. And Mexico we're going to want to do eventually. We're pushing out of Panama. So where do we not have a lot of control? I would say possibly the Caribbean. But actually Portugal is pushing a heck of a lot of money into Sevilla, and we're collecting that, so that's fine. Mexico, we could gain another up to 7 ducats, which is actually a fair amount. Ivory Coast, we're not really losing anything from that. Cape of Good Hope, we're not losing any. Zanzibar, there's 8 ducats here. And we could start pushing out of Zanzibar and into the Cape. And then from the Cape we would grab it all. I kind of like that idea. So these 10 new ships, unless of course I need them in Sevilla, we have 75%. As long as you have like more than 70% of your home node, it's fine. So we are going to send you to Zanzibar, if we can reach. I'm pretty sure that we can now. Yes, we can. Zanzibar. And off they go. .3 is that mercenary bug still right? AIs go massively into debt sometimes, buy higher tons of troops, and then they end up collapsing. I don't know if it's still there, but I suspect it is. I remember I had really big issues with that in the Lubeck game, and that did kind of change the starting areas quite significantly. I don't think it's had as big an impact in this game, with the exception of the Ottomans, who I think were very much affected. Now, the other thing I was considering is, do we want to hire more troops? My gut feeling is yes. Although we're actually only 2 under our force limit. What just happened to my manpower and force limit? I had a maximum manpower of 50,000. Huh. Trade protection against Ming. Ming's embargoing me. Don't know how that benefits them, but okay. And yes, we're working on paying off the loans. That is going to be the next big job. Because we were just investing a whole bunch of the loan money into more trade ships, I believe. And also the heavies. Tiwi is producing tropical wood and fish. Excellent vintage. Our wine experts believe that recent vintage from one of the wine-producing areas is of superior quality. Our people are quite happily drinking it. Excellent. Mullet Warrior, Arcadian, Muniz, and Notorious PJCC, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel.